Are you a nerd with too many nerd activities to keep track of? Me too. I'm going to show you guys how I use Informant to keep track of all of my geeky activities. First, you'll notice on my calendar, I have a list of a lot of the Comic-Cons that are coming up and where they're going to be. For instance, on the 19th, you'll see there's an Emerald City Comic-Con. In Seattle, we've got the Colorado Springs Comic-Con. Let's see, we've got on the 28th the BotCon. Some of these I've never even heard of. The cool thing about this is that I like to attend a lot of conventions, and I always want to know which ones are upcoming so that I can make plans on the ones that I want to attend. This is a subscribed calendar that I've added to my calendar, and I'll show you guys by going into calendars, triggers, and more, and then manage calendars. I have the Comic-Cons for 2022 dates. I also have a science fiction con calendar as well. In order to add a subscribed calendar to your Informant, you're literally just going to go right where we were before. Calendars, triggers, more. And then you're going to manage calendars. You'll tap the plus sign in the top right and then hit subscribed calendars. And then if you know the URL of the calendar you want to add, you can put it right there. Otherwise, you'll do the public calendar search. And I just searched for Comic-Cons here in the search, and I added that calendar to my Informant. And so now I can keep track of all of those cons right there on my calendar. Another thing that I like to do is I run Dungeons and Dragons for my friends, and it is a lot to keep track of. And if you have ever DM'd for your friends, you know exactly what I am talking about. So I like to use Informant to keep track of certain things that I need to do. For instance, if we go right here into the task view, I have a project called Dungeon Master Stuff. And we're just starting on this new game, so I only have a couple of things added, but I have that I need to create character sheets here in the system that I use, Alchemy. And the cool thing is you can create a checklist of all of your friends that you need to create a character sheet for, and then just check them off as you've created them. And then you can add in a URL field, and let me just show you the URL field. Here is the URL field. You can add the website that you use to create your character sheets if you use a website. And then when you tap on the task, you can actually select that website and go straight there so that you can create your character sheets, which I think is super cool, and it makes things really easy for me when I'm trying to get things done. And then I have a list of creating my NPCs, and I have a checklist of places that I'm going to need NPCs for. So I'll create some NPCs for the beginning tavern scene, and then I'll check that off so that I know that I've created the NPCs. It just makes things a little bit easier to keep things together in my head when I'm trying to start to run this game. Another thing that I like to do that I haven't done yet so that I could show you guys is I like to keep track of my schedule on the calendar. So I will create an event, and we'll put, we'll just do the D&D game. And what we usually do is we'll D&D like twice a week. So we don't actually have a schedule yet. So I'm just going to make this up as we go. We typically start our games about 7 p.m. and we go for about 3 hours. So we'll stop around 10. And like I said, we usually do this about every 2 weeks. And so what I will do is I will hit this repeat, And then we are going to do a custom every week. And then we usually hit the games on Thursday. So I am going to keep that on Thursday. But you could change it to any of these weekdays down here that you wanted to. So we'll leave it on Thursday and then we'll hit save. And I am actually just going to save this to a different calendar. And we'll hit save. And you'll see that game pops up here, D&D game, and then in 2 weeks it's going to pop up again on your calendar right there. And then you can just keep track of how many games you have and when those are coming up. I also like to keep track of when my players are going to be out by creating events for those as well. And it just helps me keep track of the things that I have going on. I love using Informant for some of this stuff because it really does make things a lot easier for me to keep track of the things that I have coming up, especially with these subscribed calendars for the cons. But this is just a really cool way that you can use Informant for simple things that you have going on, fun stuff, outside of keeping track of your work schedule and whatnot.